Good morning, friends. It is very lovely this morning, and a good time to be here at Journey Home Meditation for the morning sit. It is a cool morning, a nice reprieve in the middle of our summer to be able to not have to worry. I don't even know what to say about it. Whatever. It's just really nice. it's it's really nice. It's nice weather today, and it's good to be here. Um, we're gonna do our basic program this morning. Uh, do a little shared breathing, some contemplation, and we've got a poem. Actually, I'm gonna just start us off. Uh, so I'm Michael, and I'm very happy to be here today. And I was gonna start us off with a poem. This is a reading of a Walt Whitman poem. This is what you shall do. And I thought, for the moments we're taking our intentional breaths together today, we could have old Uncle Walt guiding us a little bit. Uh, so, as we listen to this, just find yourself bringing your awareness of your body to the inside of your body, following the breath into the bottom of the belly, feeling how the body is receiving today and how it is releasing. Um, the ability to receive and the ability to let go, these are interdependent. Um, Sometimes when we feel like we can just not receive anymore, or we may not even notice that we're not receiving, that we're not in a receptive place, um, it's because we're having difficulty letting go of something else. So we're preoccupied and we're wrapped up. All of our energy is knotted around this other thing, and that's usually a thing in another time, in another place, something outside of our immediate experience that is drawing our attention back to it, whether it's a nostalgia, a sadness, a melancholy, a missing of something, or an anger, a resentment, or a fear about something in the future, um, some anxiety, nervousness, some tension, or worry. Most often, these are the things that have the ability to tie our focus up in knots. And bringing our attention inside the body brings us into this moment, this current moment. When we're with the breath, the receiving and the letting go, we are actively participating in the openness of existence. So even when we feel closed, when we feel guarded, when we believe that we are guarded and closed, the ability to be with the breath teaches us otherwise. It shows us that we are open, even in just a little place, for just a little bit, but that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes. Just a sliver of openness will crack that heart wide open. So, I think it's time that we listen to some Whitman.
This is what you shall do. Love the earth and sun and the animals. Despise riches. Give alms to everyone that asks. Stand up for the stupid and crazy. Devote your income and labor to others. Hate tyrants. Argue not concerning God. Have patience and indulgence toward the people. Take off your hat to nothing known or unknown, or to any man or number of men. Go freely with powerful, uneducated persons, and with the young, and with the mothers of families. Re-examine all you have been told in school or church or in any book, and dismiss whatever insults your own soul. And your very flesh shall be a great poem, and have the richest fluency, not only in its words, but in the silent lines of its lips and face, and between the lashes of your eyes, and in every motion and joint of your body.
To be a poem. Yeah. That's what we shall do. Breathing in from the nose to the bottom of the belly. Let's move our body into a position to receive breath. So, allowing the shoulders to relax, relaxing the top of the head, the ears, the back of the head, your neck, your jaw, your eyes, your forehead. And as we do these next few breaths, imagine as if you have this layer covering your body. And as you breathe in and breathe out, that just starts to fade away. You can feel it slip off, like the mask is slipping. And let that tension just drip down your shoulders, off of the tips of your fingers. Let it run down your chest, your belly, down your legs, and all the way out of the bottom of your feet. Breathing in and release. And breathing in. Just be aware as you're breathing in and breathing out, the feeling of receiving and of letting go. Maybe this brings up the question of what does it mean to receive? What does it mean to let go? And these are somewhat of an abstract in some ways, but really it's a bit more direct than our thought body wants to create, right? Our mind, our thoughts wants to complicate things a little bit, sometimes a lot. Um, but it's through the complications that we create solutions. And this is how the mind feels most satisfied, right? The mind feels most satisfied when it is participating in this uh, relationship of sort of quandary, wherein um, our mind wants to feel relevant because we so much identify with the way that we think. We so much identify with the belief systems that we have, and um, we have a lot of reliance and trust and faith in the way that we think. And that's true almost across the board. Even if you're a person who has a low self image or low self worth and you think poorly of yourself, well, even that, having faith in that belief in your low self value, that's still the centering of the thought. That's still the centering of the mind. So our mind appreciates something a little more complicated because it feels helpful. It's like a toddler who gets to help with the dishes or to help mix the batter or make the dough. Uh, but in essence, the act of receiving and of letting go is a lot more practical than our mind wants it to be. And we learn this through the breath. So for this practice, let's just go with a more direct meaning of what it is to receive. To receive in this case, when focusing on the breath, is to have the breath come into the body. So as we're breathing in, notice how you receive. Is it fluid and gentle and soft? Are you open? Are you softened in the belly so that the belly can easily rise and fall? Or are you holding the guts in and breathing just shallowly into the chest? Keep in mind, it's best just to be honest with yourself in your experience of your breathing, not try to change it, just to be with it, at least while you are becoming familiar with yourself in this practice. Before you begin to make changes, just check in where you are. There might be very good reason that your body is holding on to something. It may be exactly for your benefit that it's grasping in this moment to a feeling or an emotion or a belief or a thought. And your awareness just simply needs to come to that thing in which you are grasping so that you can begin to heal it, begin to work with it, begin to incorporate or accommodate or make space for it so that it can be received and then it can be let go. But so before you rush to changing your style of breath, be with a few of those breaths of tightness or gulping or whatever it is. Just recognize how it is you breathe. So to share and to give example, right now I feel like when I begin to breathe in, I already have a body full of air. So my practice here is not just to receive, it's to focus on my out breath, my letting go. And so I'm going to take a few intentional, long, prolonged out breaths to really start feeling what that is to let go, to contract the body and let go of the breath, let go of the air, let go of the sense of control that comes over when we have fear about breath. To breathe out all of your air and to hold in that place can induce anxiety in some of us. And there's levels there of fear that want to rise up. So being able to control your breath in that way, this is a practice in the Vedic practice called pranayama, which means to restrict the breath. It means to control your breathing. So as we breathe out entirely and we hold that breath out, trying to push everything out of our body in a practice of intentionally letting go, you may have anxieties arise, and this is okay. Let the body do what the body does. Feel what those anxieties are just for a moment, and slowly breathing in, feel them dissipate. And as they dissipate, see what it is to let go of those thoughts and those beliefs as you exhale the next time. See how this shifts your breathing. These really fundamental practices are very intricate. They're complex, but not complicated. There's a lot of places, a lot of elements, and a lot of layers, but you can flow easily in and out of each of those. Complications means that there's some sort of a special knowledge that you need to make a system accessible. Complex means that there are nuances and layers and hues of being. And that's who we are. We are complex creatures. But each of those layers is visible and accessible if you would like them to be. So breathing in, and let's push all the air out. And breathing in. And breathing in. And breathing in. So 3 breaths with intentional out breath that is forcing us to let go of our body's hold on something. Now let's spend a few breaths just checking back in with our emotional selves and our thoughts as we breathe in and out more gently. Already I notice a pretty good shift in the way that I'm feeling and thinking, and that's related completely to the breath. So when you're having a difficult time letting go, when you're living in nostalgia, trying to resolve something from the past, sometimes just letting it go in the moment doesn't mean that it's going away. That's the thing about the past, is you can't do it again, but it's not going anywhere, right? You can't change it, but it's not going anywhere. So what do we do with it? Well, when we find ourselves getting stuck in the past, in those places where we're holding on, the act of receiving and letting go with intention can bring us into the moment in such a way that it doesn't forget the past, but we are no longer stuck in it. And when I'm in the present moment, I can sit with those memories, those images that I'm playing out in my mind, but at a distance. Just enough distance, enough breathing space that I can be with them in a way that's loving and kind and does not allow for myself to be taken over by them. Looking at our bodies, we see a repository of historical moments. We see all of the places and the ways in which we've walked and traveled and grown, and the ways in which we've become stronger or weaker or wherever we are in our moment. And I think it's a beautiful thing to have these markers in our lives, these places, these sort of bookmarks in our lives that we can open up to these places, these chapters, these old things that have informed us and created us, and to have a healthy relationship with that past is to be able to let it go. Doesn't mean forget it, but just stop grasping. And when we do this, we can receive what's right in front of us. Maybe a little abstract. I'm sorry if I'm not communicating clearly today. My mind is not clear today. And that's okay. It's okay. When your mind's not clear, it's not making better or worse. Sometimes we have to have fogginess to bring us to what is closest. I want to get into Appalachian Elegy today. We haven't read it in a while, and I want to start this process again. We are on number 20, I believe. Let me see what 19 was. Yes. So we read 19 already. So we are working through all 66 parts of Bell Hook's Appalachian Elegy, poems and poetry and place. So each day we are working through these different poems. Each of the poems' title is simply the number in the sequence, and this is number 20 for today. I should say, too, that there is this bell hooks magic we've been discovering where somehow the poem read relates to whatever it is that I'm going on and on about in the mornings. And I'm not reading ahead at all. I've never read this cover to cover. So here we go. The glory in old barns, surpassing time. Wood, gray, shadowed black, faded colors, places where painted signs tell of products no longer in use, standing or falling down. These structures carry the weight of history. Work done and undone, memories of toil and torment. There was bounty here, tears for sowing, lamentations for the dead, all fragments that remain remind us. Give thanks, gather praise. Standing or falling down, these structures carry the weight of history, work done and undone. The word undone, I particularly love, and I love the use of it in this poem. Again, I don't know the intention of bell hooks with the use of the words that they used, but I can say that in this case, when talking about these old barns, with the advertisements painted on the side, they kind of represent this era that's bygone, and um, there's something that can be both nostalgic about the feeling of seeing the old barns, but also there is the sadness there, um, on a deeper level of all of this work and all of this effort and all of this uh, land kind of laid waste by our culture. To have these things that were built that were so important now be of no use, is to be serve as this reminder of both like what we have done, the work we have done, and all of that which we have undone, not just the things that are left unfinished, um, but work that we have undone. We have undone this place. We've clear cut great forests to create farmland. We've had intricate ecosystems that we have completely disrupted to put a synthetic chemical into the soil to shift and change the space to do what we want it to do for a time, and then we abandon, we walk away. That's the way that we have undone something. So the use here has two meanings: the work that's unfinished, work done and undone, memories of toil and torment. There was bounty here, tears for sowing, lamentations for the dead. What have we undone in our doing? What of the ways that we have been formed have we disrupted in our lives our ability to continue growing in some places? Where are our fallow fields inside of my spirit, my being, this body? Where's the old barns in this body that these things, these forms, thought forms, and beliefs that I've created about myself that were so important at the time, that they hold a place inside of me, but I no longer use them? How can I move through this experience of being with my past, recognizing that history that I have is living through me, but what is in the past is in the past? How do we reckon that? I think Walt Whitman had some really good um, guidances for us this morning in that opening poem. What shall I do? Because I think that that's the question that I hear most often in this work is, well, what do I do? What do I do? So yes, my life has had all of these elements and these things, but for whatever reason, I'm somewhat stuck in these few trauma cycles, these few loops of moments of pleasure, but mostly coming back to these struggles of pain and insecurity and whatever it may be that someone's dealing with, especially when we're dealing with addiction, because addiction, I think, could also be described as avoidance, the ways in which we avoid our central nervous system, like those fields that we plowed up, the prairies, thousands of years old grasses with roots that go, scores of feet into the ground, these deep roots, and we plow them up and plant a grass that barely takes root. And we create these pastures and these plantations, but we've dug up something older. And we've undone things. And this is addiction. This is the ways in which there is pain that's present, and we do what we can to skirt that, to avoid it. So that avoidance, as we are meeting it, the medicine for avoidance is attention. And as we start to pay attention to these things in us, we get a sense that we have to do something. What do I do? What can be done about this? And the answers to that are so vast. The possibilities are multitude, really, but I think some of those basic practices of just returning to the breath, that's not going to pay your rent. It's not going to get you out of debt. And it's not going to write a letter to your brother that you love that you need to rekindle a relationship with, or it's not going to apologize to your children. It's not going to be patient with your mother. It's not going to do any of those things for you. But that being with that breath, that's what's going to facilitate you doing all of that. Whatever it is that those barns of the past that Bell Hooks is talking about, those tears for sowing and those toil and torment, all of that exists there. So what are you going to do about it? How about you just breathe? How about we just breathe? Just for a few moments. And when we see what we are working with and we've come to an openness, we'll know what to do. And spoiler alert, it's just love. That's all you can do. That's what I see. And that's what I'm going with. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to find all the ways in which I can learn to love. And those places that I don't prefer that. Well, I want to find a way to inject love even there. I want to write my poem in the places that need it most. Those places that I don't find to be so alluring and attractive and beautiful. I want to beautify it by just seeing it for what it is and finding the love there. Thanks for being here this morning, everyone. A few breaths before we go. See you tomorrow.